From San Jose, California, it's the panel brought to you by Sportchet, Tom Gazzola alongside Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer. Guys, the Oilers have the day off today, but the panel does not because we keep working. A day after the Oilers drop a tough game in Phoenix to the Arizona Coyotes. We had heard Todd McLellan talk about trying to move around his three centermen, putting one of them on the wing, and then finally yesterday a chance for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to play with Taylor Hall and Leon Draisaitl. And sure enough, like the season's gone all year long, he gets hurt. How tough of a situation was that? Because Tom McLellan seemed pretty exasperated after the game about that.
Well, in a microcosm of the season, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins lasted about 30 minutes on that line. And, Bob, when you look at what the Oilers have been able to do with those three players in the brief time they've played together, 3 games, plus portion of another game, they combined for 20 points. And the pressure was there last night against Arizona, but as so often has been the case against the Coyotes, Arizona got a decent goaltending performance from Mike Smith, and Edmonton could not get over that 2-goal hump. The Oilers have been stuck on 2 the last 3 games and ultimately fell short by a goal last night.
Yeah, you take a look at what occurred with the Oilers. I mean, the good news for Edmonton is after Nugent-Hopkins went out of the game, Connor McDavid, who's been productive in pretty much every situation here since coming back from the broken clavicle, he continued to create plays. And Leon Draisaitl made a lot happen out there as well. And I guess, if I'm Oilers coaches, what I'm a little bit frustrated about are the missed opportunities in the third period. There were chances to tie that hockey game. Mike Smith played well. Cam Talbot had 1 goal that he'd probably like to have back, but given how well he's played here over the last 3.5 months, I think
you got to find a way to bail him out.
And frankly, the players owe that to him. So therein lies the rub for the Oilers. I mean, they did have their first top 2 centers being incredibly creative and making lots of plays against a team that traditionally has shut them down a bit. But the challenge is going to get stiffer here because they're going to play better teams over the course of the next couple games in this road trip.
Absolutely. I want to touch real quick on that defense core because we've been singing the praises of Jordan Oesterle and Griffin Reinhart the last little while. Are we pumping them up too much because of what time of year it is and there's opportunity, or are they legitimately earning that clout right now?
Well, I think that certainly in Oesterle's case, he's probably been a little bit of a surprise. He got knocked around last night a bit, but he played 27 minutes in that hockey game. I mean, he played a ton. Mark Fane had some limits shortened after he turned the puck over on a power play goal for Arizona, but in Reinhart's case, he is a guy that is, there's certainly a lot of spirited discussion amongst Oiler fans on Griffin Reinhart. I mean, I think there's something there. He got walked on the third goal. He's not going to be happy with that. He's got to be able to make the play there on Toby Reeder. And he did have a couple opportunities to make some offensive plays, but I do see more firmness in his game. There's something coming. Frankly, I'm surprised how much those 2 defensemen are playing right now.
He had a nice war with Plotnikov going last night.
And he also stepped up on Sekash, who was running around a bit too, and was obviously frustrated he wasn't in the lineup. So, at least I'm still, put it this way, I look at it like, if those guys are the 8 and 9 defensemen for the Oilers next year, the first 2 call-ups, Edmonton's not in a bad spot.
Good point.
But they are playing a lot right now. There's no question about that. They can't argue about the opportunity that they're receiving.
I think, to be honest with you, Tom, we found some defensemen this year that perhaps we weren't expecting on the radar screen for another year or two, and Jordan Oesterle's one, and the injured Brandon Davidson's the other. So there are bright spots that are starting to emerge from a defensive core that had some real questions at the beginning of the season. And again, I would lay claim to the fact that I don't think the defense has been that much of an issue over the last 3 or 4 weeks, despite being banged up.
Well, okay. Let's get to the point here. I mean, the Oilers, McDavid has produced. He's got, 30 points, Jack, now since
second only to Crosby since the All-Star break.
Right. Yeah. And what's happened here is, we've seen Leon Draisaitl and Taylor Hall go on a cold snap. Now, last night, I thought Draisaitl was bringing it. I thought he was creating a lot of opportunity for Edmonton. But Taylor Hall's been quite offensively. He's got 1 goal in his last 8 games. And I know Taylor's a little bit frustrated with the lack of offensive production. But if you told me at the 32-game mark, when Taylor had 35 points, that we'd be sitting here at 76 games and Hall would be at 58, I would have said, come on. I would have thought for sure he would have been at 70 points, And so he's dropped off a bit. I think he's tried to change and alter his game a bit, be a little bit more responsible, pick his spots as to when he attacks. And I think he's trying to figure that out. And, this guy's been a consistent point producer at every level that he's played at. I think he's just going through a bit of a sustained funk right now.
This is the last 6 games of the year. It starts Thursday in San Jose. This is the first time the Sharks and Oilers meet since the Roman Polak Darnell Nurse incident. Do we expect anything in terms of fireworks that night, and what can we say about that game?
It's a different game now. Yeah. It's not like it was 8, 10, 12 years ago.
Does San Jose have too much on the line? They're still in the hunt for a division title.
That's it. And let's not forget, Roman Polak worked over a couple members of the San Jose Sharks in the past, too. Like, that's just, it's the game. And Darnell Nurse, he got a 3-game suspension. He also got himself a bit of a name and reputation around the league that, here's a player that obviously is going to play with passion, and the Oilers need more players that play with passion. So that's all I'm going to say on that, to quote Peyton Manning.
And I also think it's a reflection of how important, whether perceived or not in terms of the Polak contact with Matt Hendricks, I think it's a reflection of how much the Oilers respect their veteran leader, Matt Hendricks.
Absolutely. Okay, so the Oilers and Sharks go at it Thursday night. Then they wrap up this 3-game Pacific Division trip in LA on Saturday. Jack and Bob have the call for you as always. I've got you covered here on EdmontonOilers.com.